I guess we can start. Welcome to the University of Michigan Zoom forum on draft day. You got four former Michigan hockey players on the Zoom. Unfortunately, you got me to host it and hopefully move the conversation along. I'll start off. Everybody can introduce themselves. As the older statesman, I'll go first. My name's Aaron Ward. Played at University of Michigan from 90 to 93. Played in the National Hockey League and retired in 2010. And currently, I am working for the company that does the player and puck tracking for the National Hockey League.
I go next. I'm the next oldest. I'm the old guy. We're going in the pecking order here. Eric Nystrom. I was on the squad at U of M 01 to 05. Played just under 600 games in the league. Just finished my master's degree at U of M, sports management. Probably more proud moment than playing in the NHL is getting that piece of paper. So excited to be here today with you guys.
I guess I'm up next. I'm Zach Werenski. I played at Michigan from 2014 to 2016. I just finished my fourth season with Columbus. So yeah, I mean, I don't have too much of a long career yet, but I'm still new to it.
Yeah, I'm the young one here in the pecking order. I'm Josh Norris. I was at Michigan from 2017 to 2019. And this past year was my first pro season with, I was in the Ottawa Senators organization.
All right, so this year's draft is virtual, so none of us can actually relate to what these guys are going through today. So I'll have Josh, you can start. Give the city you're drafted in and what the draft day was prior to the moment you sat down. So what was involved in your day and what experiences did you have and who was there with you?
So my draft was in 2017 in Chicago, a great city to have a draft in. I had a ton of family and friends there. I think I had upwards of 50 or 60 people there. But to be honest with you, it wasn't really a crazy day. Just maybe some breakfast. And then I think I met with my agency a little bit and just kind of talked over what some scenarios were. And yeah, just some lunch and then a nice dinner and off to the rink. And yeah, it was a really fun day.
Zach?
Yeah, same with Josh. My draft was in Florida, Fort Lauderdale, which is an awesome spot. Got to go down to Florida for a week and just hang out, get some sun. I have some family that live down there right near where the Panthers play. So I had a lot of people at the draft for me. Some friends flew down. Pretty relaxed day. Didn't really meet with anybody. Just kind of hung out at the hotel, went for a walk. Yeah, and then went over to the rink, and it was an awesome night. Just a really exciting night to be a part of it and get drafted to the NHL.
Am I jumping in here?
Yep.
My draft was in Toronto, which was really special for two reasons. The drinking age was 18, so after we could go out and I had a great time. But to be in the mecca of hockey and to get drafted at the Air Canada Centre, well, it's Scotiabank now. I don't want to upset anybody, but there was a huge crowd there, and people were so amped up to have the draft in their city, and it was. It was so long ago, I could barely remember. It's almost been 20 years now. So, but it was great. I had my family there, some really close relatives. And it was just a special day. But it was only the beginning. That was just getting your foot in the door. And there was a lot of work to be done after that. But, I'll never forget that moment that my name was called. And, being in Toronto, the epicenter of hockey was really special.
Mine was in Buffalo. Made the trip from Ann Arbor to Buffalo, New York. You guys are too young to even remember. Maybe, Eric, you might remember the Buffalo Odd, where it was a building prior to old. And that draft day, different from you guys is, we didn't have combines. We didn't really have meetings with teams, so we actually had our meetings in the hotel. So draft day, I was still meeting with all the teams. So that was that experience. Same rotation. So you get there in the seats, and other than bathroom visits, what was on your mind right up to the point where they tell you to get in the stands, NHL puts you where you're sitting, and you're sitting with, I assume you're sitting with your family. What was going on for you in your mind at that time, and did you have an idea of who you were getting drafted by, and how did you know, if you did?
I mean, I guess I'll just start off with who I thought I was getting picked by. I originally thought I was going to go to Chicago, which was, I think, 26. I just met with them a lot, and I think I had a few dinners with them at the combine, and they were, we just kept in contact a lot. And obviously that didn't end up happening. I went to San Jose at 19, but before that, not a whole lot, honestly. Like, it's a little bit nerve wracking. I think I know for Z, and I mean, actually all three of you guys on here, I'm the last one to get picked, or the latest one. You guys weren't sitting in the stands too long, but once you're up there for more than an hour or two, it gets a little bit nerve wracking. And I mean, it was obviously a really, really fun time, but a little bit nerve wracking once you're up there for a few hours.
Yeah, for me, when I got to the arena, I was in the draft with McDavid and Eichel and Marner, so I knew I wasn't going top 5, top 6. But once I got to pick 7, 8, 9, 10, that's kind of where I thought I was going to go. I met with San Jose a lot. They picked 9, and I thought I was going to maybe go there. I met with Colorado, who picked 10. Columbus was probably the last team I thought was going to pick me. I had one small interview with them at the combine. There was only 2 people in the room. Had really no idea about them in terms of them wanting to draft me. So when they picked me, it was kind of a surprise, but couldn't have worked out better just location-wise, being 3 hours from home. My parents can come down a bunch, but that day was just a fun day. I wasn't really too nervous. I kind of had a good feeling about it on draft day, and once I sat down in the seats and picks started to go by, I knew it was coming eventually, and worked out very well.
Yeah, I kind of have a similar story where I met with Calgary, and it was 2 people in the room at the combine. It wasn't like this huge interview with some of the teams where you go in there and they got the whole coaching staff, the strength and conditioning coaches in there, 19 scouts, and that's when you think it's serious. So I got brought into Ottawa's after combine and did like a psychological test that was insane. So I thought maybe one of those teams would had a little more interest in me, but I got to my seat and I really didn't know what to expect. And I kind of had an inkling when like the camera crews kind of ran over to my section and started pointing up, and, Calgary was picking, and I was like, is this for me right here? And then my name came out, and that kind of like tipped me off that it was coming. And, I really had no expectations going into it, who was going to pick me, but ended up going to Calgary and had an awesome time playing for the Flames. And, that was a great day.
We didn't really interact with teams, so we didn't have a combine. I got a caliper test at U of M hospital where I saw the report for Minnesota, and it said that I was well fed, basically just the word for fat. And then I found out, actually, as I walked into the Hyatt Hotel in Buffalo, Richard Mafficek, that eventually got picked by the Minnesota North Stars at the time, ran over to me and says, "You're going to Winnipeg." And I was like, oh, because this is a Lindros draft, so we all knew no one was going number 1. San Jose was number 2. Everybody wanted to go to San Jose because we thought teal colors were cool back in the day. And then I found out I was going to Winnipeg, and actually I was walking into the hotel to go meet with Winnipeg, and that's the moment I found out. And craziest part is, I mean, you're meeting the team you're getting drafted by 2 hours before they're making the draft. They have never contacted you once, so that was the craziest part. So getting called, what's going through your mind? Like, what did you fear most?
Same word?
I'll go the same word, yeah.
What was going through my mind? I don't know. Honestly, I remember they said, because I was playing for the U.S. program at the time, and they'd said U.S. the Sharks select from the U.S. program, and then I kind of blacked out because I knew it was going to be me. But yeah, and then I probably had 20 or 30 people that I hugged, which was probably a little bit too many. The camera crew was probably getting a little annoyed. But I remember doing that, and then it was a pretty long walk to the front of the stage, and then but I mean, once you get up there and you shake the commissioner's hand, it's pretty cool. And then you obviously you get up there and meet the whole staff again and go back and do some interviews. So it's just it's such a fun experience.
Yeah, no, I was excited when I got picked. I was just sitting with my parents, my brother, so gave them each a hug, walked down. Same thing with Josh said. Once you get up there and you shake Gary Bettman's hand, I remember pretty clearly he looked at me and said, "Welcome to the NHL." And
yeah.
I thought that was a pretty cool moment. Everything you've worked for, obviously it's just the start of it, but it's a big moment in your career. And just super happy, super excited. Like I said, I had a lot of people there, so it was a fun night for everyone. And yeah, it was just an awesome night.
Yeah, I felt like I didn't even touch the ground when I was going down the stairs. It was like I was floating on a cloud. It was so surreal. You know, you work your whole life to get to a certain point, and you know, you hear your name called out and you're going in the first round of the NHL draft, something that you can never even imagine, you know, growing up playing. But you know, I feel like I just floated up onto that stage and just don't even remember. I was hoping I didn't trip or anything and I had hair at the time, so I was hoping my hair looked good. And I didn't want to mess it up when I put my hat on, you know. But now all I do is wear a hat. No, but it was so surreal. I mean, like I said, it's been so long since that moment, but just pulling on that jersey and being up there with an NHL team, and you got the commissioner greeting you at the stage, and you're doing an interview with TSN after. You know, it was a hockey player's dream. It really was.
Actually, my fear was a TSN interview because we had so little exposure, right? You didn't get really TV, and Eric and I were joking before this that you guys get your draft rankings through social media, you get it through the internet. We had to wait till Bob McKenzie released it in January, and that's the one time you saw it till June when he released it again. So the TSN interview for me was probably the most fearful thing. So post-table interviews, I'll throw it to you, Eric. Post-table interviews, describe your experience right after that. So you went around your organization, you shook all the hands, you don't remember a single guy's name.
Nope,
not a single guy.
You don't remember anybody, but yeah, you shake everyone's hand and they take you back into this war room, and you kind of get grilled by the media. A lot of they take some pretty cool shots with your family, like they have a professional photographer, and I had my aunt and uncle were there, and some family friends, and we all got pictures together, and got to enjoy that moment, and then went up to a suite. And it's so funny. I went to, and they take you up to the suite, and the attendant who was working the Air Canada Center for our specific suite, a few years later, the Islanders were in the playoffs at the Air Canada Center playing the Leafs, and my dad flew up for one of the games, and we stayed in a suite, and I was there, and the same lady who was at the draft came over and came up, made it to go out of their way and say hello to us, and it was great to see us again. It was just like the hospitality was incredible in Toronto, and it was like I said, it was just such a special day for my parents, for all the effort that they put in. My sister driving all over the place, the hockey tournaments, my aunt and uncle, for everybody to be there and experience that. They really made it about the family, which was awesome.
Yeah, after you get picked, you obviously go in the back, answer some questions, do a bunch of interviews, and then, like Eric said, do those pictures with your family. And I had a couple with my friends, and those are the ones hanging in my house right now, are the ones with my buddies, because obviously they're big supporters. And just an awesome day, going back up after to the suite, me and everyone in the organization. Just super excited with my family, with my brother. And then going downtown Fort Lauderdale after, like I said, I had maybe 50 people there from friends and family, cousins, aunts, uncles. And just enjoying the night afterwards was the best part for me, because it's everyone that supported you for so long, and everyone's kind of just celebrating it together. And it was just an awesome night, and it couldn't have worked out better.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it was pretty cool. Like, once you get drafted, you go under like the backstage or whatever, and you do a ton of interviews. And like, as a young kid, it's nice having that exposure, and you think you're on top of the world, whatever. But I think the coolest part for me was just walking out to like where all my family and friends were. There's obviously like 50 or 60 of them, and they're all like hooting and hollering, and it's just like the funnest time ever. And it's just like such a cool moment, because you're like, wow, like this is like such a big dream, and everyone's there to support you. And obviously you guys all had the same experiences out of the draft. That was my favorite moment, just walking out with everyone.
Mine ended up being, so we got drafted, and everything, again, your version of the draft, ours was scaled down, so we didn't have the exposure. So we had, I think, one other TV network that was there. In the midst of my interview, I think it was with Sportsnet at the time, or CBC, there was a rat dying about 10 feet from me. It had been poisoned, and so I had to focus on a live interview where a rat was dying at my feet. So that was my most memorable experience. All right, this is a quick one. from your draft, and it might be hard for you, Josh, from your draft, who's the most underdrafted guy that comes to mind? Should have gone higher.
I got. Oh, go ahead. No,
go
sorry.
ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just looking back at my draft year, and I want to say Duncan Keith went in the second round, like 54, and then the last pick of the whole entire draft was that Jonathan Erickson from the Wings, the big D man. He was the last pick overall, so he had a pretty good career. Along with there were some other pretty solid names in there, but I would say Duncan Keith has definitely catapulted up in that ranking.
Zach?
I think well, I know it's still early, but so far I think someone that definitely should have gone higher is Sebastian Aho. He went in the second round, and I think he's one of the best players in the league. So that's one that comes to mind. I'd have to go back and look through the later rounds to maybe see some names. I'm sure there's some in there, but he's a guy that easily could have went top 5, top 10 in our draft.
Josh?
A guy that stands out to me right away is Robbie Thomas. I think he went 20, which was one pick right after me. And I mean, obviously he plays for St. Louis, so he already has a Stanley Cup. And it's just, I don't know, it's just kind of weird. Like he won a pick after me and he's already got a cup. And he's a hell of a player, so I would say him.
Anytime my draft comes up, I'm constantly reminded that Peter Forsberg went the pick behind me. Not a bad guy. I think he might have made the Hall of Fame, a couple cups. All right. Did you have an idea, again, where you were going? Sorry, I'll skip the next one. Did you have during your draft a city or a team, specifically during the process, you're like, oh, I like this coach, I like this management, I love the city, or you're a fan of? So it's no shot at the teams you're currently with, but you guys are still playing. But was there a team or city you want to go to?
For me, not really. My parents really wanted me to go to Columbus at 8 because, like I said, they can come to all the games and it's a short drive for them. But I think as, a kid getting drafted, you just want to go and hear your name called. And I didn't really think too much about it. I didn't know too much about a lot of the cities in the league. I think I only had, 15 interviews at the Combine. Didn't really remember much about any of the teams. So when it came draft day for me, I really wasn't sure. Like I said, I thought San Jose or Colorado. But my parents were, I think, the happiest I went to Columbus. So for me personally, I didn't have a preference, but Columbus, like I said, it worked out well.
Josh?
Yeah, same thing for me, really. I mean, I didn't really have a preference. I guess I just wanted a good fit. But I mean, I remember my mom was a little bit bummed out when I got picked by San Jose because it was a 5-hour flight. I mean, obviously she was super happy and stoked for me, but at the same time, it was across the country. And then, fortunately, I'm a lot closer to home now with Ottawa. It's only about a 7-hour drive, so I think she's pretty happy about that.
Yeah, I would say the same. I wasn't too involved in coaching staff or whatnot, and I knew that I still had time in school to develop as a player. Like I wasn't going to be leaving after my first year or anything like that, looking for, where I might jump into a lineup or anything. I was just focused on playing hockey at Michigan and improving there. And, to be picked by Calgary was awesome. I had the opportunity to play in Canada, which every hockey player should have a chance to experience that, just the, how much they love the game up there. But I was never looking at, this coach, I think I'd be a good fit under him, or, this team, I think I could fit in the lineup in this spot. I was just playing, and that's all I was really focused on.
Well, mine was a throwback because of the fact that we had the only televised hockey at the time was Pass Sports, which is I guess now Fox. So I wanted to we saw the Red Wings. I was a Toronto fan. I learned to convert quickly to a Red Wings fan. At the time, they were kind of on the upswing. Nystrom got there. Fedorov got there during my college years, so became a fan. How much do you interact with your teams while you're in school? Like, how many times? Where? How did that work out for you guys?
I mean, to be honest with you, hardly ever. Like my freshman year, I think they came and saw me play maybe twice, and then. But I never really talked to him on the phone or anything like that. And then my second year, when I had gotten traded to Ottawa right before the start of the season, and some of their staff had come down and watched me play in early October. And then I got hurt right around Christmas, so they never came for the second half. But yeah, I seldomly talk to them really.
Zach?
Yeah, same with me. My second year at Michigan, right after the draft, they came to a couple games early on, and then World Juniors was in Finland that year, and our whole management pretty much is from Finland, so they were all there, and I went up to watch one of the games with them, and I remember them telling me at World Juniors, they pretty much said, when the season's over, we want you to sign. And then I didn't hear from them again until the end of the season and with the contract. So, yeah, I didn't really hear from them too much, maybe 3 times all season. And then when the season ended, I was in Columbus, and then I heard from them a bunch. So not too much.
Yeah, I had one of the player development people came a couple times, but I remember one time Daryl Sutter came to Yost Ice Arena when we played state. I want to say it was my senior year, and happened to score a game winner late in the third period in that game when Daryl was there, and I didn't even know he was in the building. And then Red called me into the office, and there was Daryl, and I was like, oh, good game to score a big goal. But that was the only time I think that he ever saw me play in college, aside from a couple like brief 5-minute conversations with the player development person, that came to a couple of games, but not helicopter parents, that's for sure.
My GM with Winnipeg prior to getting it traded was Mike Smith, and he was a proponent for the Russian game. So he showed up at my Russian studies lecture from Professor Macon. In the course of the lecture, he pulled me from class in front of 500 students. I had to do the walk of shame past everybody. And he got there, and I thought he was just checking to see if I was in class. It turns out he wanted someone to go have Mr. Spot's wings with him. Apparently, he's a big fan of Mr. Spot's. So I got out of class, and I had to tell Red, because we all know how a stickler Red is for showing up for class. So I had to describe why I had to leave. All right, so probably the best way to end this one is give your best Red Berenson story.
Yeah, I have a go-to one that I pull out. I'll be at the golf tournament when I'm like 80 years old, still telling this story, and the guys will be like, "Nah, we've heard this one 79 times." But this is my go-to Red story. I can't remember where we were bussing to, but the bus starts like sputtering, and we pull over to the side of the road, and the bus breaks down. And so the bus driver's under there for a little bit, and he's trying to figure it out, like what the heck's going on. And Red pops up, he's sitting front row, chirping the bus driver, like speed it up a little bit. So Red's like, I had enough. He gets off the bus. He's under there for a few minutes. Next thing we know, the bus fires right up. Red comes back. He's like all greased up. He's got the towel. He's wiping. He's coming back to wash his hands in the restroom. And he walks right past me and he goes, "Hey, Nystrom, it was a fan belt." And he goes, "You even know what the fan belt is, you city boy?" And just walks right past it. Like, just seared my eyes, and no cracking a smile, and just walked right past me. And I was like, actually, coach, I don't know what the hell it is. But the guy fixed the bus. Red fixed the bus.
Zach?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have a story quite like that one, but I think for me, one that sticks out to me personally is it was my second to last game at Michigan. We were playing Notre Dame in the NCAA tournament, and we're down 2-1, and the puck comes to me at the blue line. Forward's coming at me. I just kind of shoot it back down low, or I make a play to someone down low, and nothing really happens. And I get back to the bench, and Red's standing by the D door, and he's like, "Z, next time the puck comes to you up there, move it and then jump around the forward to the slot. I think you'll be in a good area to score." So literally the next play, we're down 2-1 the third period at this point. I pass it down to Boo, jump around the forward, right in my wheelhouse. I end up scoring to tie the game. And as I'm skating back to the bench, Red has the biggest smile on his face, just shrugs his shoulders. And I remember going out after the game, and I told my dad, he was there, I was like, "Man, like, he still got it. Like, he knows this game so well." So yeah, that was a cool story for me. One of my last games at Michigan.
Josh, anything?
Well, I never got to play for Red, unfortunately. I wish I did. I mean, there's a lot of stories that I'm not allowed to say on here that I've heard from the past. So I wish I would have gotten a year under him, but yeah.
All right, so Eric, you probably know this one. Zach, I don't know if he's still doing it. He had this infamous portage thing. You guys know about the portage?
What is
Go up
this?
to Northern Ontario, and he'd select one guy on the team to go on this portage trip.
Oh, you did that? You did it? You went on the
No,
canoe?
no.
Oh,
no.
okay. You didn't even get the event. Oh,
No, you had to be chosen
Okay.
one. I did everything every year to possibly not be the guy that got asked. But so I knew coming in, Red was practice what you preach. So I get there as a freshman. I'm 17 years old. Again, we've established already what Minnesota wrote in their player personnel evaluation of me. So I was probably about 206 pounds as a 17-year-old coming in defenseman. And Red finally decides he's had enough. So sits me in his office, and I look at his desk, and he makes you sit on the opposite side of his desk, and you're facing him. And there's 2 weights there, and there's a hockey string wrapped around it. And sits me down. He says, how much you weigh? So I told him, I think I was like 206. He goes, no, you're 208. So he cracks up, like, oh, this one's serious now. So he says, stand up. So he makes me stand up. He grabs the lace, put this around your neck. I'm like, oh, no. I have no idea where this is going. So he says, how'd you like to wear this around all day? I'm like, I hate it. He goes, well, that's what you're doing right now. Now make friends with salad. Get out of my office. I got booted. I was down to 189 pounds in under 3 weeks. I literally in the dorm ate salad the whole time. Scared the living hell out of me. So yeah, Red. When Red says something, it's there. So I guess we can wrap it up. First off, I want to thank everybody for doing this. Everybody tuned in. We have a pretty good group of people listening. And to all those guys, the University of Michigan possibly getting drafted, good luck on behalf of the University of Michigan hockey alum. Thank you very much for tuning in, guys. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us, guys.